So last week I watched a video of someone unveiling all these books that she'd bought and mailed to herself, and that was really fun to watch. And so I thought that I would share some of the books that I just bought at antique shops and thrift stores yesterday. So Paul took me away on Sunday for a surprise trip. We ended up going to Seneca, South Carolina, and we stayed in a tree house, and it was super fun. Friends kept the kids. And then on Monday we hit up a bunch of antique shops and a couple of thrift stores, and I found 16 books. The total cost was $24, which is a really good deal. A couple of books I spent a little bit more on, like they were $5, and I wouldn't normally spend that much, but it all equals out overall to be a really good deal, and so that was fine with me. So I thought I would show some of the books I bought and some of like why I bought them, because I wasn't familiar with all of them, but they just looked really good. So the first one was this book, The Real Book About Abraham Lincoln. This is a series of books. This is what this spine looks like. Sorry, the light's really bright off of it. This is what the spine looks like if you see it in a store. It's a good series. It's one that I am collecting, and so I found that. I think it was $2 and I got it, picked it up. This one, A Valley and a Song, the story of the Shenandoah River. I'm not familiar with it, but it looked good, and it was one, I can't remember, I don't think there were. There's these type of illustrations throughout. And so I decided to pick it up because it was $1, and because we don't have a lot on this theme and history, and I will pre-read it to make sure it's okay. But it looked like a really good one. And then I found a Landmark. The Landmark books are, again, another series that I collect. They don't all look like this, but that's what this one looks like. You can see the spine here. I've been collecting this series for a while. I found this one and another one. So this one was, I think that was $3 for that one. And this is the We Were There. So this is We Were There When Washington Won at Yorktown. And this is another series that I am collecting for the boys. And they're pretty easy reads in them. And they do have illustrations throughout them. So, picked up that one. Then I found this one, Abe Lincoln Grows Up, and it's a junior deluxe edition. And I like how I don't know if this will show up in video. Can you kind of see how the pages are all like, they look like an old book. So I picked up that one. It was 50 cents. All right, this one, I had no clue anything about it. It's called The Secret Journey of the Silver Reindeer by Lee Kingman, and it is about the Lapp people, and it had a really interesting introduction, which is really what made me buy it. So it says that it is in a spirit of admiration for a wild, beautiful country, so wide to the horizons that it cast its own spell, for its staunch inhabitants and the magic and mystery interwoven with the hardship of their lives, that the story of Aslak, as it might have happened some years ago, has been imagined and written down. And so I read the introduction, and I thought, that just sounds like a really great story. Haven't read any more about it, but I picked it up, and I'm hoping it will be great. And same with Animal Baggage. I found that one. It is by George Mason. I found it, and it was 50 cents. Same with, well, the other one was $1.25. But you know, when they're that cheap, it's worth buying. But the introduction, or the first, it's the start of the book. It starts like this. Earthworms. It is difficult to imagine how the study of an earthworm could inspire anyone to write a book. But Animal Baggage might never have been written if I had not become interested in the habits of this insignificant looking animal. And I read that, as short as that was, and I thought that sounds like a great book. And so I picked it up. Haven't read it yet, but I'm excited to read it. All right, from Pearl Harbor to Okinawa, I got the Landmark. This is, see, it does not have the Landmark symbol on the front, and the Landmark symbol on the side looks totally different. Here, I'll show you a comparison with the other one. You can see they are very different looking. If you find them, if you're looking for spines, they are going to look different. The fronts, I mean, they are different books, but they are in the same series, and they do look different from each other. So I found that one. It was, I believe it was $5 at an antique shop. All right, Thanksgiving Feast and Festival. It was $1.50, and it was, it is a collection of writings, it seems like, compiled by Mildred Coral Lockhart, and I've never heard of it before, but it looked like a very interesting combination of stories and poems and such. I'm not familiar with it, and we do have a lot on pilgrims, but it seemed like this was written for a little bit older of an audience than the collection of books we have. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to check it out before I give it to my kids to read. Okay, this one, again, not familiar with it, but it looked so good. It's called Keep the Wagons Moving by West Lathrop, and it says a stirring tale of two brothers who matched wits with an outlaw as they followed the Oregon Trail. And this is what the inside looked like. You know, a little older reading level than most of the books we have on this subject. And so I thought it would be great to try out and see how it was. And then this one, Mirror of the Mountains. This is a North Star book. You can see the symbol there, and then it's up here. And this was $2, but this is a series that I collect for the boys, and we don't have this one. And it does have sweet little illustrations throughout it. So that was another one I picked up for them. Okay, this one, we own this one, but, whoa, sorry, dropped it. Okay, we own this one. I like the illustrations in this one, but I got it I'm collecting books for my nephew one day because I get to buy him books now. And anyway, so I picked it up. It was 50 cents. And then I was very excited about these books. They were actually $1 each, and I picked up 4 of them. We already have a few. I have not checked, but I'm pretty sure we don't own any of these ones, but I probably should have lived to you one. Here we go. All right, so the Storybook of, and there's a whole bunch of different ones. So this is the Storybook of Clothes, the Storybook of Transportation, the Storybook of Food, and the Storybook of Aircraft. And I will show you the inside. And these are by Maud and Miska Petersham. And they are just nicely illustrated, and they go through how the different subjects came to be and the story of them. You can see the illustrations are really nicely done. So I was familiar with the series. It's one that I am, not going out of my way to collect. Yeah, the books are worth more, but I probably would never spend more than $1 on each of these books. And I'll show you the food illustrations. I like this one a lot. Let me see. See the illustrations in there? They're just really sweet. And so these ones, most of them, well, two of them have a dust jacket, and the other ones do not. And you can see the 2 that do have the titles on them, and the 2 that do not, they just are blank and colored. Like there's nothing on them. And so, yeah. So that was my collection of books. The total cost was about just under $25 for the 16 of them, which is really a great deal. But yeah, it was really fun to go through, and I was really inspired to see, number one, antique stores are a really, really great spot to find books. A lot of times they are priced in the $3 to $5 range, and a lot of the books in there are not worth $3 to $5 at all. But then you will find these gems in there that are actually worth more than $3 to $5. And so that was really a cool discovery. I kind of heard that, and I've had a little bit of experience with antique stores, which is one I really like to go to, and I've gotten really good books there before for a really good deal, but I haven't made a habit of stopping at antique stores. I'm inspired to definitely be stopping at antique stores on a regular basis because, yeah, the ones that they had in there were really great and good priced. And then thrift stores, we stopped at some. I do not generally like to shop at Goodwill for books. I have found that they tend to send all of their old books to be sold online. And so generally, it is harder to find good older books in Goodwill. The exception would be outlets, the Goodwill outlets, where they are selling them for 25 cents a pound, or 30, I think it's 25 cents a pound. For some reason, I found really good old books at the Goodwill. The Salvation Army is pretty good. It's hit or miss whether they are sent good books, but the Salvation Army thrift stores can be very good. But where I found was excellent was the charity shops. And the charity shops, like we stopped at one that was for Girl Guides. I think they're called Girl Guides, right? I should know, but anyway. And then Boy Scouts. We found two different ones, and they were, raising funds for those different charity or organizations. And I found that to be true in this area and in other places I've shopped. If they are raising support, they draw from, I don't know why they tend to have really good books, but they do. So yeah, I think that was my full experience with the shopping, and I can't think of anything else useful to share with you, but those were the books we found, and I hope you enjoyed.